You will recall yesterday His Excellency the President, the Deputy President and the House leadership met with 32 members of Jubilee who stated categorically that they are not in the business of engaging in subversive activities around the country in the pretext of political rallies. I am also aware from where I sit that members of Parliament from ODM and other Azimio-affiliated parties have sought audience with His Excellency the President, especially members of Parliament from Kisii. They had intended to seek audience with the President on the same issues of to disassociate themselves from the subversive activities of the Azimio leadership and those who sponsor them. And therefore, last night's drama at Matiang'I's house was one to excite people's emotions, invoke public sympathy, but it also a script that we would describe as a perfect case of the guilty being always afraid. And we want to state that as guilty as they may feel, they may have imagined when they abused state power against many of us in the last regime that we were acting scripts. But you remember when 300 police officers were sent to arrest the Honorable Ndindi Nyoro. You were all present, many of you media people. You witnessed everything that happened, right from Citizen TV studios the night before to the following day when Ndindi Nyoro was being arrested in Murang'a by over 300 police officers. And you could see the police officers. You remember when the Honorable Oscar Sudi's house was raided by close to 550 officers in the wee hours of the night. There were photographs, there were videos of the officers even breaking into his gate. You will remember when Senator Lagat, former Senator Bomet, was being arrested. You could see the policemen. We want to challenge the scripters of last night's drama to show Kenyans a single photograph or a video recording of the officers they purport to have been in Matiang'I's house. Not a single photograph has been availed, not even a CCTV surveillance of that residence, not even a video recording from Matiang'I's or his house girls or his watchman's or his gardener's phone. None. And surprisingly, even the media house that purported to have been on scene, their cameras, in a very mysterious way, could not capture a single policeman. The best they could capture is Raila Odinga and some funny media-craving lawyer purporting that he has an army of 200 other lawyers who again could not be seen. Therefore, this script and all this drama was a figment of a few people's imagination within ODM, an act out of desperation, an act aimed at inciting Kenyans and invoking public sympathy. And I want to tell the Honorable Raila Odinga and his team, whether you will resort to some of you asking their mothers to speak on their behalf, to scripting drama, nothing will distract this administration and the government from doing what they are doing. To CS, former CS Matiang'I, we know you are afraid. We know the guilty are always afraid. But we want to tell you this government will not act as carelessly and as irresponsibly and abusing power as you did when you were in office. Whatever you are afraid of, and you know the things you did when you were in office, just patiently wait for the law to catch up with you. And if anybody wants to arrest you, it will not be done in the wee hours of the night. You will not have to stage any drama. It will simply be the law catching up with you. You are aware the very many cases of extrajudicial killings that happened in this country. You all know.
Members of his profession, and the master of ceremony was Dr. Alwach, and he made all kinds of jokes, and it was at the expense of politicians like myself. How we have not gone to school, we cannot read speeches, and those sort of things. So I want to give him a chance now to prove his prowess in an area where he was, criticizing us. And I also have requested him that there must be several doctors who are here that we have not acknowledged. And he has reminded me that you've only acknowledged politicians. Where are the doctors? And since there's a Swahili saying which says that when you're still giving birth, you don't disrespect the midwives. So I don't know when I'll next to be at his clinic, or when I'm on a table when he's a surgeon. So most respectfully, sir, I ask you to acknowledge the doctors and tell them that it's not out of slighting them that I've not mentioned them. Thank you.
God is good, and all the time, the clergy, the family of Magoha, all protocol observed. But I'm going to break the protocol a little. I'm going to request you to have a 10-second medical or biological break, and also in honor of Magoha to stand up for 10 seconds and stretch yourself. Thank you very much. I'm sure now you're awake to listen to me speaking. You may sit down. It's important that you listen to me. Okay, thank you. I'm here to present a very important constituency. I represent the doctor. It's important to note that Barbara and Mike are also doctors. And I represent very important doctors. I can't mention them because there are very many. And more important, probably this morning, I'm the most important speaker because I'm especially anointed. I'm representing the doctors, but I also come from game, and which is a very important, the only location you can find in English dictionary. The only interest, the only important verse that has never been included in the Bible is do as I say, not as I do. So yesterday I told people not to read their speeches. That was me saying. Now I'm doing opposite. I'm going to read a speech. To the family of the Bogoha, on behalf of the medical fraternity, I bring you our sincere condolences on the loss of our dear colleague. We know the medical profession is used to witnessing death, but that does not take away the pains of death when it takes one of our own profession. Death, taking a precious life like that of Magoha, is very painful. And extraordinary doctor he was. It is said that to lose people we love is very painful. And though we say that we cannot lose love, because death cannot touch love. The sorrow we feel when we lose a loved one is the price we pay for having them in our lives. Magoha was a man of good heart, cared about friends and family. He contributed to the development of every single person he met on his path. He mentored many and sowed the seed of greatness in many things. He was an inspiration to many people. Although nice things are said at funeral like today, it is sad that most of us will not be able to hear the same things said to us. He was always an inspiration to all. He said what he meant and meant what he said. He lived beyond humans, and his thoughts were always revolutionary. While we mourn a colleague, we pay tribute and celebrate a life well lived, a life committed to building excellence and standards in every way. Not many doctors leave such a legacy of such dedication to excellence. He will be missed, but never will be forgotten by those who are fortunate enough to have known him. He made many people great. Some people are born great, others made great, others have got greatness thrust upon them. But he was a great man and made people great. Thank you for leading a great and fulfilled life. The rivers of sorrow. Life is like rivers. Eventually they go where they must. Drinking from the rivers of sorrow sustains a different kind of life. The river is hidden from the rest of the world. Tears drip from my chin and fall into an endless flow of liquid love. The river sparkles with beauty for life and death. Even as the rivers and the sea are always one and meet eventually. Death is not the end of the journey, but the beginning of another journey, a journey that we shall all take and we shall all meet the end. Rest in peace, our departed friend, Omore.
Thank you, Daktari.